The first criminal trial of a former US president is underway, with jury selection starting in Donald Trump's so-called hush money case in New York. It's the first of 4 cases against Mr Trump to proceed to trial and could be the only one that takes place before this year's presidential election. Jade McMillan joins us from Washington. Good morning to you, Jade. What's happening in court today?
Well, for such an historic moment, Lisa, it got off to a fairly slow start. It wasn't until late this afternoon, local time, that the process of selecting the jury for this case actually got underway. And that is going to be a pretty complex task, given Donald Trump's public profile and the strong opinions you'd imagine that many Americans would have of him. The court does need to settle on 12 people who can say that they would approach this in an impartial way, this task of deciding whether to convict or acquit the first ever former US president to face a criminal trial. In fact, when the first 100 or so potential jurors were brought into the courtroom, dozens were excused almost immediately when they indicated that they couldn't be fair or impartial in this case. The ones that remained were asked questions along the lines of what kind of news they consume and whether they'd ever attended a pro or anti-Trump rally. So this will take some time. It could be at least a week before the jury is selected and the trial proper gets underway. In the meantime, both supporters and critics of Donald Trump have come to this Manhattan courthouse for this very significant moment.
I've come to show support for President Trump. What's going on in that courthouse is a total sham, and it's important that we show support for him. He has always had our back.
It's about injustice done to Trump. Trump is treated very differently from anyone else.
We believe that Alvin Bragg has a good case and that there will be a fair jury of New Yorkers there to judge the information and the law and make a decision.
Any upstanding citizen, whether it's a minor infraction or whatever, you pay your time, you know what I mean? And it doesn't matter who you are.
Jade, have we heard from the man himself?
Yeah, he was present in court today and he's required to be present for the duration of this trial, which could take about 8 weeks. Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty to all of the charges against him. He's facing 34 counts of falsifying business records with the intent, allegedly, of covering up a payment made in 2016 to porn star Stormy Daniels, who claimed to have had a sexual encounter with him. Donald Trump denies that took place, and on his way into court, he again criticised the merits of this entire case.
People that don't necessarily follow or like Donald Trump said this is an outrage that this case was brought. This is political persecution. This is a persecution like never before. Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Now, this is just one of the 4 criminal cases that Donald Trump is facing, but his lawyers have tried to delay all of them, and this might be the only one that actually proceeds to trial before November's election. He is now the presumptive Republican nominee. If he was convicted in this New York case, it wouldn't technically prevent him from trying to win that election, for running for president again, but it could have significant political implications. It could sway how voters think about him as they make up their minds.